God, Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Hashem, HaMashiach, Yahushua. This is Officer Aharon. Now, today's lesson, today's breakdown, if you want to call it that, it should be real quick. It's going over being courageous. We have to be courageous in this walk. Now, let's see what the word courageous means. You know, I see it in the scripture sometimes, but let me see what courageous means by Google. Google definition, courageous. It says not deterred by danger or pain. It says to be brave. Comes from the word courage. It's supposed to have courage. Fearless. Here goes some synonyms, whatever you want to call it. The similar words: brave, plucky, fearless, valiant, valorous, intrepid, heroic. So you know, you see in these royalty movies, you got so-called heroic men. They always have to go through something to deal with something that they do not want to deal with, and it causes them to be, you know, courageous or have courage. We're supposed to have that same spirit, same walk. What are we supposed to have courage for? What are we supposed to be courageous for, you may ask? It's a couple various things. Main thing is Most High God. But this is Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper wherever thou goest. And this is the Lord speaking. This is Joshua 1:1. And after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying. So this is coming from the Most High. Be thou very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do all according to the law. What is a courageous act? What is a courageous act according to the law or for the law? Let me see. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6. Let me see. God, 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 17. It says, but let this that we have spoken be for a warning unto us, and now will we come to declaring of the matter in few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. It says, but he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came out of his mouth, came out of his own accord to the torment. It says, as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. So you got the Greeks forcing the Israelite man mouth open and putting pork in there, putting swine's flesh in there. But Eleazar, very courageous brother, one of well favored among Israel, he spit the swine's flesh out. He spit it out. It's because it's not lawful. It says things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. Verse 21 says, but they that had charge of the wicked feast for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. So they tried to go to Eleazar and was like, look, I don't know what kind of fillet. I don't know what kind of meat it was, but they grabbed something lawful. For an example, I'm gonna just use lamb. You know, they be like, all right, check this out. You don't have to eat the swine's flesh. We got lamb. Eat the lamb and act like it's swine's flesh. Why are they trying to do this? Because they're trying to get Eleazar to offend Israel. If they see Eleazar doing it, then they be like, okay, I can do it. We can do it too. Obviously, it's lawful. It's okay. We can eat swine's flesh because, hell, Eleazar wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't okay. But let's see what happens. Verse 22. That in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. So, if he would do this thing, he would be delivered from death and find favor with them. You know? Let's see if Eleazar was a courageous man. Let's see if he was brave. Let's see if he was fearless. Let's see if he feared death, or if he feared the Most High God. If he feared his word. Let's see. Verse 23. But he began to consider this discreetly as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. Wherefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. So he had a counsel within himself. You know, them gray hairs paid off, his age paid off, his excellent of ancient of days. He's sitting there thinking he's being a man right now. He's like, am I really finna do this and offend Israel? Or am I scared of, am I scared of death? But it's saying the law, I'm not finna do that. I can't do that. I don't care what this man say. Eleazar said, F it. Send me to the grave. That's a man that's very courageous. That's very courageous. Because check this out. He read in Joshua 1:7, it says, only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law. He thought back on the law and was like, I can't go out like that. He gonna stain my name. My name is gonna go down in the books as Eleazar the wicked. Eleazar the one that caused everyone to sin. You know. Now it may not have been against the law for Eleazar to eat the lamb, but Eleazar knew that he would be in the wrong if he did eat the lamb, that it would cause him to offend everybody else. This is James 4:17. It says, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So it would have been sin unto Eleazar if he would not have done good. The good would be to not eat the lamb that they made it seem like it was pork. Like, yeah, he ate the king's sacrifice. He ate the swine's flesh to our God. So should you. He knew that was wrong, so he did not do it. That was him choosing the righteous good thing during that time. Verse 24 says, for it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion. 80. A score is 20. So 20 of them times 4. I believe that's 80. 80. And 10. 80. He was 90 years old. And the young men that look up to him, I'm going to just read it again. It says, for it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 and 10, or 90, were now going to a strange religion. They would have thought that Eleazar went to a strange religion. And a lot of men and a lot of young people, a lot of young brothers would have followed after Eleazar. They would have followed after his ways. But now, since he says send him to the grave, it's going to be a lot of young men that follow after his ways and be very courageous in the law, that he may observe to keep the law. They're going to be observed. They're going to be courageous, fearless, brave, heroic even. You're going to be heroic to the land of Israel. Verse 25, it says, and so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time, and so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable. So Eleazar, all he's saying is, I would become a hypocrite. I would look like a hypocrite for me to just want to live a little bit longer. I'm already 90. Hell, I'm gonna live a little bit longer. Me, desiring just to live a little while longer. I would stain my old age. I would stain my name, what I built, what I stand for, and I would make myself abominable. My name would be abominable. People wouldn't look at me the same. The Most High wouldn't look at me the same. That's what it all boils down to. Eleazar knows that it's all about the Most High, but now he's like, I can offend many of my brethren if I do this thing. But verse 26, 2 Maccabees 6:26, it says, for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. He said, I will be able to escape, I will be able to escape death from these men for a little second, but I won't be able to escape the Most High, whether in the grave or alive. I won't be able to escape the Most High from anything. Let me see, let me grab this one precept. This is Hebrews 10:31. It says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. And Eleazar knew that. He knew that it was a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Most High God. And that's what he did not want to fall into. He was like, nah, because I can escape these people, but damn it, I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life and in the grave. This is Matthew 10:28. It says, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. And Eleazar knew that. Eleazar had this wisdom stored up in his head. It was like, nah, I'm not going to be able to escape the Most High God. Even if I escape these men today, I can't get around that. There's no way for me to get around that. I'm going to just have to deal with it. And I'm going to just deal with it. That's being a man. That's what it is to be a man in this thing. The harsh truth is a lot of people are going to have to die for this thing. A lot of people going to be courageous. A lot of people are going to have to show themselves a man. Be a hero unto Israel. Be heroic. Sometimes you just got to do that. You just got to be heroic. There's a lot of our forefathers that showed themselves a man, showed themselves valiant. You got King David. Who did he do? What did he do? He stood up against Goliath. What is Goliath? Goliath was a giant of the Philistines. We'll get into that a little later, though. Let's finish with this. Verse 27, 2 Maccabees 6:27. Says, wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age requireth. See, I'm 90 years old. I'm going to act like I'm 90 years old. I'm going to show myself a man. I'm going to be a man. It's like it. Verse 28, it says, and leave a notable example to such as be young. To what? to die willingly and courageously. It says, such be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. He's quoting basically Joshua 1:7. I'm going to show these young men how to die willingly and courageously for the holy and honorable laws. And at the end of the day, what that's going into is for the Most High God. Am I going to fear what these men say? And, throw my God behind and just be like, he'll forgive me later. Or I'm finna stand up and be a man. I'm like, nah, I'm not getting down with that. I'm cool on that one. That don't even sound right. I know that's wrong, so I'm not finna do that. That's really what it go down at the end of the day. Are you gonna get down with what's wrong, or are you gonna get down with what's right? That's what it's all boiling down to. Let me see if I can find this precept going into death. This is Sirach chapter 41 and verse 3. It says, fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh. This is the sentence over all flesh. You don't need to fear death. Death comes and goes. It happens to all people. Everybody. I don't know a man that lived forever. I don't know a man that's walking around in the flesh that's just been living forever. I don't know. I can't name him. If anybody can, let me know. I know we got regeneration, but show me a man that's been here that's something 1,000 years old. It's impossible. You can't. So do not fear death. You died before, you can die again. You have to be courageous. You have to be willing to die for these holy and honorable laws. I mentioned David. Why did I mention David? David was an honorable man. Courageous man. I won't even say man. The account I'm finna get, he was a courageous boy. Let me see. This is Sirach chapter 47. Verse 2. As is the fat taken away from the peace offering, so was David chosen out of the children of Israel. Says he played with lions as with kids, and with bears as with lambs. David played with lions like they were children, and with bears like they were little lambs. Verse 4 says, slew he not a giant when he was yet but young? And did he not take away the reproach from the people when he lifted up his hand with the stone and the sling and beat down the boasting of Goliath? For he called upon the Most High Lord, and he gave him strength in his right hand to slay that mighty warrior and set up the horn of his people. What did David do? He slew Goliath the giant. He slew the giant. Let me show y'all something about these giants. These giants is pretty funny. This is going into David and his men slaying. David had valiant men with him, men that was known for putting in work. Putting in work. I'm gonna grab that precept. I just wanted to see where this is at real quick. Okay, con. Bear with me. Trying to get everything together real quick. Con. This is 2 Samuel chapter 21 in verse 15. It says, moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel. And David went down and his servants with him and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed faint. This is after the fact that David has slew Goliath the giant. I already got one of the accounts. There's another precept in the earlier chapters of 1 Samuel, I believe, where David slew Goliath. But I just grabbed one out of Sirach. So this is David and his men going to war against the Philistines again. Philistines are men that, basically they valiant men, but they also had giants on their side. That's really what I'm getting down to. They had giants with them. 2 Samuel 21 and 15. Moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel, and David went down and his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed faint. And Ishbenob, which was of the sons of the giant, the weight of his spear weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight. He, being girded with a new sword, thought to have slain David. So you got this giant that's coming after David, like, I'm finna slay him. Because everybody knows that David is our king. He's our basically our light at the time. He's our sign of greatness, basically. Like, if you got David with you, you kind of feel strong in that time. You kind of feel, okay, we finna kill these niggas. This is how this is finna go down. If you got David with you, you feel valiant. You feel more assured in your walk. You feel more safe. And if David is gone, now you kind of got to retreat. Like, damn, David out of here. He's the strongest out of all. We got to go. They just slew David. Now the morale going down. If you're in a war and you got high morale, you kind of pushing through people. Just like Alexander the Great. He had high morale. He pushed through he pushed through everybody. Back to the point though. Verse 17. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored him and smote the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David swore unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more out with us to battle, that thou quench not the light of Israel. So David's men, they kind of commanded David at the time. Like, nah, man, you can't come back out here, dude. You can't come back out here. Back in that time, the king would go out and fight with the people. But they like, nah, we lose you. We kind of losing everything, man. Because the Most High is dealing with David at this time. You don't want to lose him. He's precious. So they kind of like, just chill. We got this. Because they're valiant men. They're men of a very courageous spirit. Verse 18. And it came to pass after this, that there was again a battle with the Philistine at Gob. Then Zibkiah the Hushathite slew Saph, which was the sons of the giant. And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elhanan, the son of Jaregim, a Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. So here you got this brother slaying Goliath's brother. He slew Goliath's brother. When David had already slew Goliath. So the Philistines, they kind of coming out there with a little bit of anger, a little bit of strife. Like, damn it, you slew my champion. You slew my brother. Now they're like, I'm coming out for get backs. They looking for David. You kind of got the giants out there. They just got their own David. They got strict commandment. Look for David. Let the rest of the men worry about these other men. Look for David. If you want to know what the giants looked like back then, it was about, I believe, about 12 feet tall. 13, about 12 feet tall. There was one giant, we did the math on his bed. I think it was a king of Moab. I think he was a giant. Can't really remember right now, but we did the math on his bed, and that sucker was about 14, 15 feet long. If you want to get a good picture about what the giants look like, look up the Game of Thrones giant, and then go to images. There's a big Edomite. Huge. Just look at the images. It's kind of what the giants was looking like back then, you know? But they was Hamitic, Egypt looking, you know? It was black folk. But they giants. And you know these giants ain't just fat, you know? They kind of well taken care of. They kind of cut. They big. Swole. Look like they've been in the gym, you know? But it's not an easy thing to go up against these giants. That's why they're giants. Let me get this precept. This is why we had to be courageous back then. We're coming on a time now where we got to be courageous. We got to be courageous now to go out and teach on the streets. We actually putting our lives at risk or at danger, whatever you want to call it, by going out and teaching on the streets. Not everybody wants to hear this, what we preaching. But this is Baruch chapter 3 in verse 26. It says, there were the giants famous from the beginning that were of so great stature and so expert in war. So these giants is experts in war. You know, they know how to get it done. Like, yeah, man, we finna come out here, we finna slay David, we finna slay his man, we finna handle this thing. That's why Goliath was kind of boasting. You think Goliath just went out there and he was like, he ain't got a body? He ain't killed nobody, he ain't beheaded nobody? Nah. Goliath probably slayed thousands. He probably took nations by himself. Probably just had a shield, sword. Maybe didn't even have a shield sometimes. Boom. Going through 50 men. One swipe of the sword. Knocking them off. It says they were expert in war. Hell, you find me a giant today. I don't know no giants today. But I can tell you it's pretty hard to go one-on-one with a regular man. How much more with a giant? Man got weight on his body. I'm not talking about 200, 300 pounds. No, he's probably 400, 500. And in shape. In shape, can run miles. Ready to take you on. You know? Trying to fight a man one-on-one, trying to fight a man that's 150 pounds is a little difficult. It's like, damn. This is wearing me out. But no, trying to fight a giant, you have to be courageous. You have to trust in the Most High God. You have to put your fear in Him and not in man, not in this giant. You know, they didn't go out to war just looking at him eye to eye. They went out to war like, all right, it's me and you. You know, that's the kind of man David was around. They didn't go out there and was like, oh my God, we finna lose. This is it. We gotta go. I can't be here. You know, this is getting kind of scary. No, that's not how David's men was. No, that's not what they was about. They was out there like, we ready for war. I don't care who come. I don't care who show up. I don't care if they whole army is full of giants. We finna get down with it. We finna make a slaying, a killing a day of these men. I don't care what these men is talking about. I don't care what Goliath is talking about. I don't care what any of these other men is talking about. David told me to come out here and kill. That's what I'm here to do, you know. That's what the men back then, the men of Israel was on back then. They was very courageous. They was on a whole nother spirit than we are today. You know, you kind of tell a man to go fight him one-on-one, he like, I don't get a weapon. Nah, you don't get a weapon. What do you need a weapon for? You know, Jake trying to look for an advantage. I don't got no weapon. I ain't got nothing. He kind of scared. I ain't got nothing on me? Where the gun at? You don't get none of that. Go fight him. Where your hands at? You know? But not these men. These men, yeah, we can go one-on-one with this giant. David told me to come slay you. That's what I'm finna do. That's what I'm here to do. But it's more. 2 Samuel 21 and 20. It says, and there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, and had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number. And he also was born to the giant. So there was a giant in Gath. This man had 6 fingers. Hands probably built like that. I don't know what a man with 6 fingers looked like. He had 6 fingers on each hand. Why? To accommodate the rest of his body. You know, if you're that big, if you're even bigger, you probably get an extra hand, get an extra foot, get an extra feet. You know, but he had extra fingers on his feet, extra toes. Brother had 24 digits in everywhere. We got 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. We got 20. He had 24. Just to accommodate his structure. All I know is, it says he was of great stature. They didn't mention that stature about any other giants, so I'm led to believe he was bigger than the rest of the giants. He was bigger than Goliath. He was bigger than the other people. He just out there, ready. I'm led to believe if he grab you, you're done. If he just hold on to you and he can just squeeze you, break your bones, you done. That's it. Let's go on to the next one. The Philistines, they was winning a lot of wars because they had these giants with them. They could do such things, you know. We reading right here, we already went through about 4 giants. Trying to take on 1 giant is enough. It's like, damn. It's going to take us at least 5 men to take down this giant. But as we reading, you know, David's men, they going one-on-one with him. They going mano-a-mano. I be trying to picture how David's men took these brothers out. But let's keep going. This is 2 Samuel 21 and 21. It says, and when he defied Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shemaiah, the brother of David, slew him. These 4 were born to the giant in Gath, and fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. So Jonathan, his brother, he like, man, you defying Israel, you gonna have to die. Period, point blank. These brothers was courageous, you know. And one of the other words to go with courageous was valiant. And that's what these brothers was. They was valiant men. Valiant men. Let me see. Get another example of having courage. Being strong. Quick example with Jeremiah. Quick example, if I can get to it. This is Jeremiah 1 and verse 4. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Then said I, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. So Jeremiah is like, Lord, he didn't even he was so scared. He just told God he couldn't speak. It wasn't, well, I can't, you sure I can speak? Because it's like, I'm kind of a child. No, he was just like, Lord, I cannot speak. I am a child. I don't want to do this. Because back in the day, you had structure and you had order. You had elders. You had men, fathers. And you got children. Jeremiah like, dude, I'm a child. What if I go out here and tell these elders something, how you think they're going to look at me? I go out here and try to tell the king something, that's on me. I can go to prison. Let's see what the Lord say. Verse 7, 1 and 7, it says, but the Lord said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. It says, be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord. So he said, be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee. Because, you know, faces tell a lot. Body language tell a lot. You got brothers that's looking at you kind of like, oh, okay, like that's what you saying? All right, stay here. You know how Jake faces get, like, oh, for real? He said, I'm gonna die. Okay. You know, they kind of taking it like you said, like, man, I'm just a messenger. But Jeremiah was like, he's kind of moving a little bit of fear. And the Most High already told us that he didn't give us fear. You know, he gave us a heart of courage and a heart of strength, a heart of love. And after that, Jeremiah was like, cool. Because he said, be not afraid of them or their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee. That's having faith. Courageousness, courage, and faith, everything just go hand in hand. You know? Because if you don't have no faith that the Most High is going to be with you, where's your courage coming from? You kind of don't have no courage. You kind of just like, I think he going to get me out of here, man. I don't know. I'm not even finna risk it. And then you're not even courageous no more. You know? Even when you go out and teach, you're supposed to be courageous. You're not supposed to hold back the truth for anybody. Even when you dealing with between your brothers, giving counsel or judging betwixt each other. You know, my brother Mahar, I can't hold back. Like, say he did something wrong, or say he's doing something wrong, say he's sinning, and I don't say nothing because I'm like, it's my brother. You know, I'm kind of fearing what he gonna say back. Like, man, whatever. I can't be like, I know he's sinning, but I'm scared to say something. I don't know. When the law tells us don't let sin suffer upon your brother, I'm finna look at him like, hey, yo, relax. Can't do that. You know? You're supposed to be very courageous. Now, let me see. I didn't want this to be long, so I'm gonna kind of cut it a little short. This is Sirach 2, and I pull this out often. Sirach 2 and 10, it says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? It says, the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction. So during that time, during your moment of courage, or during your courageous moment, because you're going to have that. Everybody's going to have that. You're either going to have a moment of courageousness, or you're going to have a moment of fearfulness. You know, a moment of weakness, a moment of doubt. It's all up to what you make it, though. You can make it, this is my moment of courage. Or you can make it, this is my moment where I'm out. Or I'm finna be a coward right now. You know, it's all on you. You can have that moment of courage, that moment of courageousness. Scriptures say, arm yourselves likewise in the same mind as Christ. And Christ was very courageous. He came into this thing knowing when he was going to die and knowing how he was going to die. Courageous, dealt with it, did it, ate it like it was nothing. Drank it like it was water. Job was courageous. I'm not gonna get too much. This is Job 34 and 7. It says, what man is like Job, who drinketh up scorning like water? Just wanted to get that precept. I don't want to bring too much out. I just wanted to get a couple accounts of men that was courageous. You got Daniel, you got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I talk about them a lot. You got Ezekiel. You got Jonah. Jonah was fearful at one point in time. He was scared to go to Nineveh. Why? Nineveh had a lot of war going on. It was a bad place. It said the bodies was just filled up everywhere. Dead men. Jonah didn't want to go, but he went. Ain't no telling what the hell happened in Nineveh while Jonah was there. But he went, did what he was told. He gained a sense of courage, even though that courage came from the Most High, like putting it in him. You know, but that's what it comes down to. The Most High can put the courage in you, or you can just, you know, you can learn from example and deal with the courage. Cause you're not denying the Most High's will. That's like, you know, if the Most High got it written in stone that you gonna be courageous, and you be like, I'm cool. The Most High is gonna show you, like, okay, if you don't do this, this is gonna happen. Next thing you know, hell, I'm finna be courageous. Cause that ain't happening to me. I'm finna do what the Most High said. You know. So, hopefully this is edifying. Lord willing, brothers got a little bit of faith building out of this, a little bit more courageous for the Most High God and Yahweh Shai and His laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, Lord willing, we can increase our faith in these last days. I didn't want it to be deep or nothing. I didn't want it to be like, you know, don't want it to be weird. That's what I'm getting down to. But we give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, and say, Shalom, my Barak, Mashpagah.